Recording in progress.
That was so loud.
Is it?
My ears just got blown to Kingdom Come.
You said come.
That I did, and now you get to edit that. Haha.
Do I though? I don't think that one will get me heard on YouTube. But this is our movies and minutes for this week. You're sort of part of an unprecedented thing this week, even though I'm early on in this podcast, so there's a lot of those still. But there were so many movies this week, Pat, that I have to do 2 episodes, and you're on one, and I have another redhead on the other. So it's like Clash of the Redheads.
More like just class with a ginger beard because I'm blonde when I decide to have hair.
The other guest that I'm having on tonight is not a ginger beard. She has red hair by choice. So, but still, I like.
Mine's by genetics.
Right, but I once I realized I was gonna have to have 2 episodes this week, I was like, well, I could go all in on the red, and then I did. So
I would not use that as your title.
No,
all in on red.
No, I won't. The title's usually just the week, the episode number, and what titles we done talked about.
Is today's movie or weekly themed drama? Because 2 out of the 3 I had were drama.
It just sometimes it just be like that. There was a lot of movies that dropped this week, and my tired ass has seen them all. But so how this works, as a reminder for you and my guests, is I sent you 3 trailers for some of those movies from this week. You watched them, you absorbed them. You didn't get to look at them a day ahead like you wanted to.
I was gonna write notes, and you're like, no.
No, I mean, you maybe did between the time that you saw them earlier today and now, but I want your like hot take, not your prepped take.
It's 5:28. I watched them 20 minutes ago.
Prepped steak. So, and then from there, you form some opinions, ideally, maybe some thoughts on where you think they're going, and then we go chit chat about it. I'll give you some spoilers so we can see where your thoughts on them line up. But I've kind of come to the conclusion that I want to spoil these things completely, because then why people won't go see them. So, alrighty. So what was the first trailer that you watched for this week?
Let there be revolution.
Let there be revolution. I believe I
am going to write a play to start a revolution.
I believe that is Chevalier.
I couldn't pronounce the word, so I'm happy you did.
Yeah, Chevalier. It was like a French title that he got given. Basically, you're the fanciest black artist.
Conductor.
Yeah, but you also black. You're the fanciest black artist in 1780s France. This is what distinguishes you, so people don't give you the business on the street. Whoa!
I was gonna say, Marie Antoinette, yeah, 1780s ish. So
you saw the trailer. You said the play thing. What else? What did you think this story is about?
Up and coming musical artist trying to find his flavor.
Up and coming music.
There is at least 2 violin duels in that trailer.
I liked them. Yeah, violin duels are always fun, especially when it's supposed to be against like famous people from history. Did you happen to pick up on any of who those were?
Oh, I don't remember names to save my life.
That's fair. One of them was Bach, Mozart or Amadeus Bach.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. The other one I don't know was like a big name to us, but like for the purposes of the movie, it was somebody he had to compete against for something that he wanted.
Yeah, I recognize the scores of the music that are playing against each other. I just didn't know the names.
Right. It was definitely that one was probably the Bach parts, because he walks up on stage and says, "Can I join you?" And he's trying to,
Monsieur.
Yeah, can I outdo you on your own shit?
And boy howdy. He played that violin fierce and fast.
Fierce and fast. Fast and fiercely?
Exactly. But I didn't want to step on another title.
Too late.
Dun, dun, dun.
Listen, flattery is what's the phrase? Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So yeah, just copy the name. It's props.
It's Fast and the Furious, but in the realms of violin dueling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, what do they call a musical off two people playing the same instrument against each other? I'm assuming it's not a duel, but it is to me.
There's a name for it. It's called Battle of the Bands.
That is true. Or a dance battle, a rap off.
Yeah.
Or violin.
Or a fiddle DD.
I like that one better. A fiddle DD.
Yep. So he's up and coming. He's trying to find his flavor, you say. What I mean, do you think he does? I mean, do you think you mentioned revolution? I mean, do we think these things are like separate? Do you think there's like some sort of intertwining goal? It's just happening at the same time, and that just happens to be the backdrop for him.
Well, I don't believe in coincidences. So it would not surprise me if his music, or flavor as I put it, would be displayed better in the realm of finding revolution and helping the people of that time find their voice, which is what it seemed like he was trying to do.
That would be a great assessment, and that would be, kind of on the right path. It's weird. He sort of already starts off on high at the start of the film because he's they start off with a flashback of him as a kid and playing, and he gets like to go to a prestigious academy. Even though they fuck with him because he's black, he mostly like gets through unscathed. And but like the right at the start of the film, he's like at the top because he's like a prodigy.
Yeah, the trailer and for the schooling, they're like, hey, we know this is not normal for our institution, but his talent is all we care about.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, people didn't only care about his talent. They saw the color of his skin and went right for it.
Yeah. And there's other stuff that's going on. There's like love, there's a position that he's kind of wants to get that he doesn't already have, which would, like, if he's close to the top at the start of the film, this would kind of like set him way above, because it's like, okay, well, I'm black and I have this sort of like lesser title, but if I got this title, it puts me above like everybody, in terms of, musical, artistic, like that sort of thing. And like that's a driving force for him. And but it's weird because the whole revolution thing, he kind of has to learn that, like, hey, I'm in a position where I can help people and I don't really know it. And he kind of gets like schooled on that, like, hey buddy, you've got the ear of Marie Antoinette, you've got like the ear of all these rich people because they like your music, like you could be doing so much more.
Oh yeah, towards the end of the trailer, she says that to him, is like, listen, you don't need more enemies, and you can kind of hear it like under his breath, but you're like, you can make the assumption that he's like, yes I do. He's like, this needs to be tipped upside down.
He's a little arrogant for sure. Because the one thing I'll say about this, what's that?
The cockiness is there.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say, which it's not as if I want to see like, a minority get beaten down by any means, but I think this movie, it was a little bit tame, with the historical aspects of like being a black person in an all-white society. Like, even the times when he gets like, caught up by like racist people, he pretty much keeps getting like out without any real harm. Like at one point, one person like threatens like to bust his hands, and he gets out with like no wounds or anything.
And instead of a broken hand, you got to punch the gut.
Yeah, basically. And that hurts it a little bit because it makes it seem like he can get away with anything rather than like have consequences to his actions. And they say that he's based on a real historical figure that was kind of lost to history, that they've slowly
an untold historical story is how they were selling it.
Yeah, and you know what? It's really cool, if for no other reason than the music. So do you think it's something that you would watch? I mean, I know I know for you, theater viewing is definitely like few and far between because it's like effort for sure. But let's assume that it's gonna hit somewhere free digital. Would you watch it?
Oh, I would watch it. I'm not afraid of whatever a movie's genre is per se, as
Okay.
long as the topic or the movie itself
Mhm.
has a story to tell. Either there's a lesson to be learned, or
Mhm.
in my case, lots of glory action. And you don't even
Right.
need the glorious action part. If the story is compelling, it doesn't matter
Mhm.
the genre.
Right. And actually, on that note, and I usually start the episodes by doing this, but we were kind of riffing a little bit, so I didn't even really think too hard about it. I know some of your tastes, but what type of films do you like to watch normally?
Normally, you would see me anything action or thriller. That's how
Thriller.
it
Okay.
goes.
All right, a little Michael
High,
Jackson
stressful
zombie action.
situations, the action, maybe the violence on occasion.
Mm, violence. Give me all the violence.
Especially since I'm not violent in the real life, might as well get my fill from the made up life.
Well, I mean that's how entertainment sort of works. I mean, ideally, like one doesn't necessarily watch murder because you want to secretly murder, but I don't know. Sometimes that is also the case. Like a movie I saw last
Psychological
week.
films are good too.
Last week I
Things
saw a
that
lot of Nazi killing, and I didn't feel too bad about it.
it's a good time when a Nazi dies.
I mean, we preserve all human life. I can't say that
According
with a
to
straight
it, I
face.
don't.
I couldn't say it with a straight face.
You may hear me say that with a straight face.
With a gay face?
Ooh.
So Chevalier, music and drama and sort of history biopic. Oh my. What's next?
Plus, it's also during a spicy time in human history, not just history as itself. The French Revolution helped other nations form their revolutions.
Oh yeah, yeah. There is definitely some of that in the film too. But that's definitely more of a once you watch it, you notice like it sparks some other things. There's talk of like women's equality to men. There's talk of like Africans becoming same as like whites. Like there's a little bit of everything in there.
Oh no, us white folk were afraid of the people that don't have to wear sunblock.
I need the sunblock. I used to think that I was immune being brown rice, but last year I did get burned, and I was like, "What's happening?"
What is this? This is new to me.
Yeah, no, it really was. I mean,
Christ.
for years, I just kind of like crisped, and last year I burned.
Melanin, man. That natural
Mm,
sunblock.
melon.
Melons.
So what was the second trailer?
Don't know if I remember the name.
Don't remember the name.
I remember the one trailer I thought was creepy with what's his name? Jacqueline
Oh,
Phoenix.
oh yeah, that'll be our last one.
Yeah,
So
the one after that I don't, or before that I don't remember the name. So you might have to
some
refresh my name.
somewhere in Queens.
Oh, sticks, basketball.
Yeah, and Ray Romano.
I don't know who that is.
Everybody loves Raymond.
Nope.
No, no. It was
I know
a.
the
I
show, but
mean,
I never watched it.
right. I mean, I didn't either, but like I know it's of its existence. He's a comedian. It was a sitcom in the I want to say early 2000s. Basically, your typical like Italian New York family, but
Wasn't that ironic? I was about to say this. It seemed like the film was meant to display an Italian New York family.
I think Ray Romano was playing to his strengths. So the dad, Styx's dad, is Ray Romano in real life, and also he directed the movie.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is. So would it I mean, like with a name with somewhere in Queens, it could be about a lot of things. I mean, what did it seem like it was about?
From what I have retained, it's a athlete who no one realized could be an athlete. His family wanted him to join the carpentry business, wanted him to take after his father, and then had a don't know if the guy was shady or not based off the part of the trailer, but he did show up at night. That's usually shady. saying that the kid could be a basketball player if no one already knew that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it flashed forward a little bit. He has his little girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
Things didn't end so hot with said girlfriend. And now he doesn't want to play basketball anymore. So now the father's trying to put him back on the path to playing basketball. Or at least that's what I got from the trailer.
And I mean, that's the synopsis, right? Do you have any sense for where you think it goes based on that info? I mean, he like you listed off kind of like the start of the race, like the basketball, the family business, the girlfriend, and then the not working out with the girlfriend.
So now that I think about it, it might be more about the family dynamic and respecting each other's boundaries, because I remember in the trailer as well, mom got really upset with dad going behind the family's back and like trying to almost bribe the ex-girlfriend to take him back just so he would play sports again. And then mom found out, got mad, shoved something in his face.
The whole family finds out.
And then it looks like almost like they separate because of it. Like it's an embarrassment. And he's like, I just didn't want you to be embarrassed in front of the family. It's like, well, you might have done that yourself.
So you hit on a lot of the points. So somewhere in Queens, like I said, Ray Romano is like the dad. He's kind of like your typical. He's like the dad that I think would make dad jokes because he's just got like not a whole lot else going on in his life. He's got the job, he's got the kid, he's got the wife, but like he seemed like a very like average run of the mill dad. Nothing too crazy going on, you know.
You've seen one, you've seen them all.
Kind of. Big extended family. You know, they hit on a lot of things from Queens, which I unfortunately have some bias in when I watch this movie because I was born and raised in Queens before I moved up here.
I was gonna say you were a New Yorker born and through.
I was
specifically. Not like us upstaters.
Well, you know, I moved up here when I was 6, so you know, I got more upstate than that at this point. But still, Styx is really good at ball. Styx has a girlfriend that he's you know they show you all the little nitty gritty stuff. He hasn't kissed a girl before. He hasn't done stuff with a girl before. It's
his first relationship.
First love. It's really important that like we distinguish it because when she breaks things off, it's just
because he doesn't know what to do. He's never been there.
Right. And that's why he stops wanting to play ball. He doesn't want to do anything. And for all the wrong ways he goes about it, the one thing I'll say is dad cared enough about the kid to try and do something to get him out of it, but he picked every wrong way to do it. Girl's not interested. She doesn't want to be tied down. It has nothing to do with like wanting to date other guys or not liking Styx, but they're both about to graduate and she wants to drive on a cross country trip. She doesn't know how long she's going to be. She just doesn't want to be attached and like, you know, fine.
Or one person saw a fling, another one fell head over heels.
Or she was 17 and, you know, she was happy, he was happy, but they really hadn't discussed the future because you're 17.
Children.
Really, the basketball thing is kind of like window dressing in this. It's kind of like the zombies to Walking Dead. Like they're there and they're part of the story, but they're not.
More so as a plot, not the whole premise.
I mean, like some people could definitely like mistake this for a sports movie because basically he's got a shot at getting a full scholarship at Drexel, which is in Philadelphia. So that's why dad wants girlfriend to go back out with him so he can focus this just long enough to make the cut. And then she can go and
hindsight being 2020, that would never have worked.
Right. But and that's the thing too. We find out eventually that Styx is really only playing basketball because dad got him into it. Styx doesn't want to go to school and play basketball. Did anybody bother to ask? He's doing it
for fun to be around his family, not as his ultimate end goal.
Yeah, and although a lot of this stuff seems spoilery, this movie is really good more for the character stuff more than anything. You're watching those moments, you're feeling the moments, you're liking or feeling your heartstrings tugged by some of these moments. It's like the whole the journey, not the destination. Because you can watching that trailer, you pretty much pegged the start, the middle, the end, right? It's not a secret. But sometimes you go see a movie for the feels and less about the deets. And I think
It's
that
more so about character development and maybe a life lesson or even just a personal lesson you could take away from said film.
Yeah, I think that that's what the case was with this one. It was really good though. I think character-wise and everything, I think I gave that one a 5 out of 5. What's the one that we talked about before this? No, it was I'm blanking.
French Revolution.
That one, yeah, that one was good. I didn't give that one a 5 though. I think that one was like 3.5, 4, only because there was some of that stuff with the race kind of just was a little bit too, especially if you're telling me it's based on a real story. It was a little too unbelievable to
Maybe they
think
were
that
too
guy could.
afraid to delve more into the race with current issues of the world.
Well, more along the lines of like the guy kept getting away consequence free from like damn near everything in the late 1700s world where
Or
like
have you even looked at someone the wrong way?
yeah,
It wasn't gonna
every
end
other
well.
black person was you get your hand cut off for not doing what you're supposed to. But the last movie, you said you did remember, and you that one was probably the last one I threw on the line for you for the ones that you had to watch.
Not recommend anyone do the hard drugs and then go see that if it's the trailer's anything to base off it.
So, that last movie, you said earlier was Joaquin Phoenix, of lots of things, fame, but maybe most recently Joker. When I saw Joaquin Phoenix as Joker, I thought that had been his best role ever. And then I saw this movie, and yeah,
like the Joaquin Phoenix I know. See, I only know him from the Joker.
yeah,
Not any of his work prior to the Joker.
yeah,
And
no.
he is drastically changed from what I know him from.
So yeah, what did this trailer do for you? This one I'm actually the most curious to hear about because I think I don't remember if I even saw the trailer for this movie before I saw it. I just read about it. I had other reasons for wanting to see it, but I'm curious. So what did this trailer do for you?
Well, at first I thought you sent me a spooky movie because the ear screeching screech at the start, I was like, whoa, that's usually indication of the type of movie. And then it got a little further in. He's like, oh, I need to go back home. And then wakes up in a hospital bed with an ankle bracelet. Some lady says she hit him with a car. And I was like, okay, this is getting different. Maybe what we saw before in the trailer might not be the whole story. And then he like escapes because for whatever reason he has to get away from where he is. He just kept walking, and then this DMT fever dream happens in the forest floor where things start to vibrate and pulsate all around him. Like, oh, now we're speaking a language. I was like, I don't know what drugs he did when he broke through that door glass pane, but boy howdy.
You're doing really good because here's the thing. To try to describe this movie to people after I saw it, I
DMT fever dream.
Maybe, possibly.
Like I'm sure he was seeing colors.
Yeah. So just a little bit of background. Have you? So you said like spooky. So spooky's not usually like your cup of tea, yeah?
No, not usually.
But you've seen some spooky things to be able to say I didn't like it.
Yeah, I've seen like the Paranormal Activities and stuff where it's jump scare heavy. I don't like those. Early and late '90s / early 2000s slashers, I'm fine with, mainly because those are just blood fests.
Not psychological stuff.
Yeah, but the psychological stuff where it's the ambient noise and maybe the buildup is what gets me. And that's where I go, no.
have you seen or are you familiar with either Hereditary or Midsommar?
I don't think I've ever heard of them.
Okay. So both of those are spooky, and the director of those films is named Ari Aster, and they're real out there horror films. They're real thinkers. I mean, there's some killing and stuff that happens in them too, but they're not very comparable to other horror. It's real like exactly what you described, like the build up, you're trying to figure out what's going on, and if you blink you might miss it type stuff, and if you catch it you're like, oh shit, I just shit my pants because it was spooky. So Ari Aster also did this movie, Beau is Afraid.
Oh, his name is Beau. I want to
Yeah.
put that together by Beau.
Yeah, Beau is Afraid.
I was calling him Bia.
Hey, Bia is Afraid.
Dyslexia.
That's fair. DNT Fever Dream, huh? That's what we're going with.
Well, what? He jumps out of a front door,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next scene, he's laying in a almost cel-shaded, cartoony forest that's vibrating under him. Like, you get the ripples and everything out of the solid ground. So that tells you something's going on that the trailer's not specifically saying. It's like, hey, maybe I drew the connection that maybe he has some form of mental illness.
So here's the thing about this movie. Much like the previous two entries for the viewers here, like Hereditary or Midsommar, you're never really quite sure what's going on. In some movies, they eventually give you the like heads up. You wake up from the dream, or you see somebody locked in the padded room, and there's some kind of explanation and whatever. You find out that somebody was had some DNT, that sort of thing. You never find out. You never know at what point what has occurred in the film is real, not real.
They leave it kind of up to your own personal discretion and what
kind of it damn near seems like everything that Beau runs into is very like distortion of reality. Like he's like bolting in and out of his apartment, like to the corner store to grab water for medicine that he probably knows he has to be taking every 8 hours. And like when he bolts out, people start chasing him, then he has to get back to his apartment door and like close the door on them so that people can't get in. Like it definitely starts off with some spooky elements, but the movie is like a 3-hour epic, and it a lot happens in it. There's like trippy cartoony forest scene. There's a musical play thing at one point. There's him on the bed with the bracelet because somebody hit him and they're trying to like nurse him back to health. But then like their daughter like keeps making Beau do stuff like with her like drugs or go places, and if he refuses, like she says, I'm gonna tell my parents you like touched me. Like just like unbelievable silly thing after unbelievable silly thing after, and you're just like, where is this going?
Like instead of him being in control of his own life, it's more like he's just riding the wave
kind of
whatever's going on in front of him, but he doesn't know what's truly real and what's his own amalgamation of what's actually going on.
Except for he never says that. That's more just the audience point of view. Like we're noticing all these crazy things happening and we're like, okay, is he riding the wave or what's going on? There is like a very tiny, if you can call it that, plot that sort of carries through the film, but like you said, he has to get home. He gets a call from his mom that like something's wrong, and he has to try to go back to his like original home, like where he lived as a kid with his mom, and so that's like part of it. Like he's trying to get home, and then he gets home, and shit's still weird. And I really don't know how to describe this one. Like I think this one would be if anything, it'd be a great watch if you were high on something. It might freak you out, but you'd like probably enjoy it more than a normie like me watching it and being like, what the fuck did I just watch? spoiler alert.
DMT fever dreams aren't for you? What?
Spoiler alert, there's a giant phallic CGI monster at some point in this movie.
Somebody's schizophrenic, gotcha.
Maybe.
We'll show some of that psychology knowledge.
Parker Posey's in the film too, if you know her. She actually looks pretty great still.
I don't know people by name.
Did you ever watch?
I might know them if I see them.
Yeah.
But other than that,
the Blade movies, like Vampire
it's
Blade.
on my list.
Oh my god, my man, you should be.
I have backlogs on backlogs.
As you're writhing in pain, you should just be like, movie.
Oh, it's either the movie or it's something, some show or some YouTube video.
Ooh, or anime.
That too.
You
ever want to do anime in minutes? Boy, do I have opinions.
I've actually got two anime things already that I watched that were both technically movies that I did not include in Movies in Minutes episodes. So yeah, maybe. I guess that can be our honorable mention for this week. There was a stage play version of Spirited Away that they recorded and streamed at Destiny.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Actually good.
Yeah.
I know sometimes stuff like that doesn't do well.
Yeah, it translated pretty well. In fact, I kept waiting to see how certain things were like done. You know, like, hey, this kid transforms into a dragon and then flies all around. How do you guys handle that? And it's like, you know, a bunch of people come like rolling around him with like exotic tapestries and make it seem like a whirlwind Kamehameha thing. And then as like they like pull them down, a guy starts running around with a really intricate like kite, essentially, that's the dragon, and like making it stream all around the stage. And I was just like, you know, that's a pretty good way to translate that. Like, I don't know what else I could ask for.
Transformed into a dragon.
Yeah. So DMT fever dream though, Beau is afraid. You think that's actually? I didn't ask you that for Somewhere in Queens either. Do you think either of those are things that you would watch also, or
Somewhere in Queens? Probably not. That one probably not.
That's
Beau is afraid, maybe, depending on how deep it dives into horror. If it's more,
there's always throughout the whole movie, there's definitely a vibe of like you never quite know what's going to happen to Beau next. So, I mean, that gives you a little bit of like,
more into suspenseful, or is it horror? Because suspenseful and horror are different.
Suspense is probably a better word for it, because you're there on the edge of your seat wondering like, oh shit, is this person going to get Beau? Or oh shit, like, is he going to get hurt? Or like, you know, it's kind of like you're
invested in the character.
You're invested in him and you're worried, but like, you know, that's why you're watching the movie. You're here going like, is he gonna get got?
And maybe he gets got, maybe he doesn't.
He might get got.
By the phallic penis? I mean, not penis?
Spoilers. Yo, dude, the scene with this phallic CGI thing it was one of the most jarring things I've ever seen sitting in a theater. I just was like, what am I seeing? What am I supposed to like?
Did you start to wonder if you were on DMT?
No, well, no. I just kind of, when I walked out though, like I had one other friend who'd already seen this who beat me to it, and I messaged him and I was just like, what? I got nothing. Words fail me. It took me a little bit before I could put like finger to paper and like write a review. So, but yeah, I mean, generally speaking, I like DMT fever dream movies.
Suppose since it is Joaquin Phoenix, that should be at this point expected that his movies tend to be weirder than others.
Right. The one
he likes to push the boundary of people's psyches and their perceptions of what's actually going on.
He does, and that's part of the reason why I said going into this that Joker I thought was his best performance until this, because Beau is put into a lot of different situations and has to react to a lot of different things, and that really speaks to the range of the actor. For as good as I think he did in Joker, in that movie he did his own interpretation of an existing character versus Beau, which is was
being
like
completely
totally
different, their own character,
well,
no
yeah, totally
like
exactly.
biases
It's
on what the character was supposed to be like. He went into
right,
this like, hey,
right.
this is what we're working with, and now I'm going to perform
Mm-hmm.
to this character's immense strengths, or maybe in this case, lack thereof.
Right, right. His constantly being on a back foot and trying to get home, like sorry, apologizing, getting like put in weird situations. Just I don't know, man. Like not, and by no means am I talking down to the Joker movie, but it's just like we all know Joker, so we had certain expectations. So it's like if somebody meets slash exceeds the expectations that you were expecting, cool. Somebody meets or exceeds your expectations on something that you had no fucking clue what to expect from. I think that's
Now
a
you
little
got
better.
something.
Yeah. All right. Well, if I happen to catch Fever Dream DNT on a streaming service, I'll be sure to do. Hey Pat, it's here.
Well, I'll probably keep my eyes out for it now.
Yeah. Same with the other one.
Yeah, the
All right.
French Revolution one, that one I'll probably sort out on my own, because that does seem interesting.
Yeah, the music in it was cool too. I mean,
I do like violins. Violins are neat.
how about fiddles
Fiddle, ooh, oh fiddlesticks.
or fiddle DD? Look at that. We came full
Indeed.
circle.
Bam. Indeed, sir, indeed.
Are you? Oh, that's right. You're not coming. I was gonna say, you excited for Guardians this week?
I am excited for Guardians, but 6 o'clock is, especially for a 3-hour movie, that means it's probably not getting done until after 9.
I haven't actually looked to see what the runtime is, to be honest.
I believe it's just shy of 3 hours.
Let's check that before we
If I'm
wreck
not
that.
mistaken, so that means I wouldn't get home until super late, and that's not good for the body.
I mean, define super late.
Late for me, probably early for most people.
I don't know who these most people are you speak of. Nothing in Fandango.
I thought the runtime said 3 something.
Guardian of the Galaxy. Yeah, there we go. 2:29. So
hour and a half.
Two and a half.
Yeah, it got cut by a half hour since I last saw it.
Nice.
Or by like 20 minutes, I think.
Good. That's good. 2.5 is just right for that.
I don't like when the Marvel films stay past their welcome, and ones that are like 3 hours or more kind of stay past their welcome for me.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be like Avengers Endgame to warrant that. Like
even sometimes with the action films, I feel like they keep too much in for some things, but not enough for others. So you'll have like a giant superhero film, and you only know like 4 characters because they don't have enough time to build up the extras.
Yeah, well, you figure this Guardians movie is probably going to focus. I mean, like trailers are making it look heavily Star-Lord focused, heavily Rocket focused. So, and then we got to place bets on who we think doesn't make it out.
I might already know that answer.
Ooh.
A few of the actors are not re-upping their contracts, so
we'll save that one for when I do the Guardians review. And
oh yes, we won't ruin it for the viewers.
Drop it in the comments then.
Ooh. Who's gonna die? Who's gonna live?
Yep.
Find out next week.
Maybe we'll do a channel Deadpool for it, and I'll throw up something and be like, "Who do you think will live and die? Winner gets my
next
firstborn."
week on Dragon Ball Nabs.
Dragon Ball Nabs, nice. Well, like I said, everybody's getting a double dose today because after this, about an hour from now, I've got another one I'm gonna record. So, get a little double dosage.
Or you could do one long episode where it's 2 different sessions.
Well, kind of. But but then I get to do 2 sets of cover art because I'll smash together the 3 posters
thumbnails,
for the one
yes,
that we talked about on this one, and then I'll smash together the pictures for the movie on the other one.
That is also true. Thumbnail is key in the YouTube space.
So, well, I thank you, my man, for being my guest. Has been, a great episode of Movies in Minutes. I haven't attached it to my account yet, but when you folks see my lovely new logo, this beautiful man here is the man you have to thank for that. All right.
I'm beautiful.
Yes, you are.
How nice.
Thanks for being on, buddy. I will catch you soon.
We will chat soon, I'm sure.
Take care.
Enjoy the next episode, my friends.
Bye.
Total.